So in this video I want to talk about the US dollar Canadian position that I have on. So one of the first things to kind of consider is that it is the biggest position in my portfolio with 1.77% risk at the moment. And then considering the price action of what's happened since yesterday, which is when I entered, it's not really acting like something should if it was to break higher. So I'm actually going to cut this position, and really the rationale is that it was a trade that I thought was going higher because of because okay, it was something that I thought would go higher because that it was showing strong bullish action despite a weak US dollar. Now I have to say that that doesn't really seem to be the case anymore. It's shown weakness as well. Unfortunately, I don't actually have yeah. So you can see that the US dollar against the Canadian and the US dollar index are actually both kind of in lockstep right now, and they're both weak. In fact, you could argue the US dollar Canadian is weaker than the US dollar index. And just looking at other kind of currencies against the US dollar, the euro, well, yes, that's kind of indicating that the US dollar is actually quite weak here, at least from an hourly chart. Daily chart, it looks like US dollars being weak. Looking at gold against the US dollar, looks like the US dollar is acting strong compared to gold. The pound is acted quite weakly against the US dollar. So that's US dollar strength there. So US dollar strength against gold and the pound, not so much the euro. US dollar strength against the Swiss franc. US dollar strength against the Japanese yen. US dollar weakness against Australian dollar. So Australian dollar and the Canadian dollar aren't doing too well against the US dollar, but there's a bunch of other things that are. So I can't really say that there's a broad strength. Well, there is a decent amount of US dollar strength in other currencies, but it's just not translating in the US Canadian, which is not a good sign for the trade. I think system-wise that I initially wanted to go in because I thought I could do with more risk, but I just don't know if that's the case anymore. At the very least, I don't want to be spending risk on something that's not just acting very well. And I also entered because I thought there was a potential for a trend. Price is moving against me, so that's not really promising. I still do like the correlation of the trade, being long the US dollar and short the Canadian, even though the price is not acting very well for me. Long-term trend, obviously, it's still intact. Intermarket wise, it's just quite surprisingly, I'm guessing that, yep, so the S&P 500 is acting strongly, which um, it's, I guess, if Canadian dollar can be seen as a risk on um, trade, then that's probably not good for the US dollar Canadian. Um, so, yeah, really, I'm going to lose money on this trade, but it's going to be reducing risk, keeping my losses small, so I'm happy with that. My reaction is just, once again, I'm quite proud of the fact that I'm able to follow my rules and lose money, as funny as that might sound. And in terms of other important considerations or lessons, not entirely sure there are any at this point in time. I think it's just a trade that didn't go well, and it might actually do better later on. So I'm just going to get out for now and keep an eye on it. So I'll get out of part of my position. Um, I'm going to get out of. I'm going to get out of two out of my three legs. So thank you for listening.